So I've always wanted a game where I can play a bard, and not Bard's Quest because it was an RPG. I mean, like, I want to play an MMO where I can be a bard. And I know there's a couple out there, but I just have this amazing vision of it in World of Warcraft specifically, so I'm going to go with that tangent. But basically, I imagine this amazing character that, can run around, and you can choose to be either a storyteller who, enthralls his enemies with stories and tales and, hits them and uses parlor tricks and bar tricks and things like that he's picked up in his travels to do damage and cool things like that. And then on the other side, there'd be this cool support music playing one that'd either be like, a musical bard or a performer bard or a minstrel, maybe. Minestrone. God damn it. The name of that one always fucks me up. I don't remember that one. But basically it'd be two. There'd be one that would be musical and one that would be, just storytelling, damage, all that, and it'd be cool. And I'd love for it to be like the healing one would play, like, obviously it'd have like a healing song, and this character would play it for the healing instead of being like, you use shields or you use heals over time or direct heals or you do better like this. I want one that would be like he would stand in the melee range to heal, like, or whoever he's healing with, like whoever would need to be healed would need to stand in kind of a circle around him, an aura around him to hear his music, because obviously if you're too far away you can't hear it and it's not as effective. So, that'd be kind of cool. So the closer you are, maybe he heals more, something like that. Inspired definitely by Lucio, the music playing DJ that they have in Overwatch for sure. I kind of was like, yeah, that's a cool concept for how a healing should work, like to make it just an aura that follows you. But on top of that, this bard I would love to see have like, not just healing, like his thing would be healing, but like basically a rotating song. So he'd be like, oh, you heal for this X amount of seconds, and then you press your other button and you shield people for X amount of seconds, or when you do another song, like you speed people up or give them extra damage or haste or whatever, and just in small bursts. And once you fill like your song bar or like a set of notes, like you fill up enough notes at the top of the bar, you can unleash like a crescendo. For this is the healing, you let like a crescendo or a drum solo or a lute solo, something like that, to kind of give them some cool little final burst of healing or support or whatever they happen to choose at that time. I think that'd be really cool, and I'd love to see something implemented like that. I don't know, but a lot of people are like, oh, Guitar Hero, whatever. I'm like, no, this would be different. I love the idea of jamming out on like a lute or a banjo or whatever the hell thing you chose. Like, you would still, I guess, have to carry a weapon on you. They can't just disarm the whole system and be like, all right, only these guys use instruments. So you'd still carry an instrument on you and you would just use that, but the weapons would still be handy for like, screw this music, I'm going to slap you with this spear or a spoon or whatever the fuck you're using at the time, Like, you would still have weapons, but your primary source of everything for healing would be like whatever weapon you decided to go with or whatever instrument you decided to go with, which would be awesome. The other side of the coin, the storyteller here. So, yes, you basically throw stories at people. Like, you can. I just have this cool vision of like you can demoralize your foes and do damage to them by like calling them names, like insulting them, or maybe you'll write a limerick, or you'll tell an epic tale and it will summon like a random, like a hero of legend. Like, you have this summonable creature that you weaved from your storytelling, or you would like, if you talked about like, oh, a dragon attacked the castle, would have like basically a visual, like a visage of a dragon going down on a thing and doing like an AoE cone of damage. So it would basically be the elements of your story would be played in your combat. So when you said, and the arrows fired, a bunch of, ghost archers would shoot little arrows towards your foes, or whatever, and kind of like a skill shot or towards your enemy like that. But it would basically be you summoning tails to fight on your behalf, basically, as your spell animation. So kind of like a spellcaster, but with, they're using those unique abilities to where you're telling a story as you're doing this damage or whatever. And I think that'd be really cool. I think that'd be a unique way, a new kind of way to do spell casting, and they can have a lot of fun with it because you could, as your spells got better, or I'm sure they just started it. Oh, you're a heroic class. I think it'd actually be better if you were a heroic class and you started from the lowest level possible so that you could really experience growing your story over time. So, you know, like, you've gone through all these things and maybe make it so, because every class has kind of its own unique little thing it can do, make it so that maybe while you're in a, after recently telling a story, you're entertaining in an inn or camping for a while, or maybe just talking to an innkeeper nearby, you gain a buff that lasts for X amount, or maybe you can get you get like a random item or payments or something like that you can do once a day that'll kind of help you in your adventures. You'd have to kind of find a way to tune it down for rating, because, you know, obviously people are like, oh, that's not fair. He gets 10,000 stones of death, I guess, from his bartender. They can use whatever, but I think something along those lines. Like, I just really want to play a bard, and I see it in my head so beautifully playing out, and I would play the shit out of that class. Like, I'd have trouble not role-playing. It'd be like, you know, I write a song to smite a dragon, and just so good. That's what I'm looking for. So, Blizzard, please, somebody please. I just really need to play a music-playing character. I was terrible at it in D&D because I didn't realize I was going to go up against undead horses and skeletons who apparently don't care if you call their mother names, so it's highly ineffective. But anyways, bards. Yeah.